What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today I am here to talk about a few things, in particular, my review for the video game Cocoon, my thoughts on the final season of Reservation Dogs, and how that kind of ties into the overall theme of your world, your the things you have going on matter just as much as somebody else's. But I hope everybody out there is doing well. It's been a pretty okay week for me. But before I get into all that, as always, if this is your first time here, welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Danny's to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, TV, and video games. So, my week overall has been, for the most part, pretty solid. Of course, there's always life and things, your boy got to take care of. But all in all, things are solid. Things are busy at work. I think they're taking over some more clinics and stuff that's about to go out of business. So we're bringing in some more people on board, which means a lot of preparation stuff that I need to do with getting hardware and stuff together and configured and set up and stuff for those deployments in the coming weeks and months. But hey, keeps me busy, which keeps me paid, which keeps, my life going and my family fed. Um, but aside from that, I took some time off this weekend from a lot of the usual sports and activities and stuff. Just kind of just talked to my wife at the end of last week, being like, man, we're just not gonna do nothing as far as like practices and all that stuff, whatever. So I got to stay home for the most part or whatever. But of course, as a parent and especially a parent with multiple kids, there's always something that's gonna come up, whatever. So we did have to deal with something, you know, um, Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever. But not gonna go into too much or whatever. But everybody's okay. But just kind of had to deal with a little situation and stuff. But yeah. So aside from that, things are good. We're in the month of October, which is freaking wild to think about, man. Like fall season is upon us, and that means that a lot of anime have started, which, I'm definitely going to touch on some shows a little bit later on that I've already started watching and checking out, but it'll still be another week or two before I do like a full fall season preview and stuff. Just because like I said, I want to kind of give it a couple weeks or whatever to me watching some stuff before I kind of do that episode or whatever. So, but it will be coming. But yeah, and of course, the avalanche of video games uh, continues to march on. And I'll go and just get that out the way real quick. Just kind of up top. So I got to play this game named it's called Cocoon. So Cocoon is a game developed by Geometric. I can't remember. Is it Geometric Interactive, um, which was founded by and created by a couple of former developers from the studio Playdead, which is best known for their games Limbo and Inside. So it was kind of like the head audio guy and the head gameplay designer, along with some new people and stuff. Went over, created this new studio, and put out this game named Cocoon. Now, the game is out on all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. It's on Xbox Game Pass as a bonus, but I bought and played it on PlayStation 5. Now, I played through the whole game over the weekend. Not a super long game. It was maybe like 5, 6 ish hours is what it took me or whatever. But the game itself is kind of like a adventure not platform. I keep want to say platformer, an adventure puzzle style game. Like I said, if you've played Limbo or Inside, you kind of have a general idea of the style of game, but it kind of involves you dealing with these different orbs and you going into basically each orb or whatever has a whole world inside of it. And by the time y'all are hearing this, whatever, or sometime in the within the same day, whatever, I'll have a little chunk of like 15 minutes of gameplay from the game on my YouTube channel. So if y'all want to see a little bit more in depth of what the game looks like and sounds like and stuff, whatever, go check that out or whatever. But all in all, like the game from beginning to end was fantastic. Because those games, Limbo and Inside, they've always been really good about setting the tone and the atmosphere. And there's just always intrigue and wonder with every new location you go to, every new ability that you get, of like, oh, what does this do or whatever, and how is this going to play into overall stuff? Because throughout the game, you basically get four different abilities, four different abilities, and the game does really well with kind of like chopping things up towards like, okay, you got a new ability, now you go through a level or a section of a level exploring, learning how to use this new ability or whatever, and then they kind of start interweaving the new stuff with the existing stuff, and you kind of get stuff building upon each other to where you're having to like use some of the abilities and stuff in tandem with each other. And then the jumping in and out of the world of the orbs or whatever is like super dope and kind of like mind trippy in a way, because like I said, like some of the puzzles that you're doing, it involves you going like inside of an orb, and it all kind of looping within itself or whatever. It's like super cool. Like it's weird to like really try to describe it, but like I said, like the gameplay of it is fantastic. I feel like it had just the right amount of difficulty to where I was pretty much able to play, I would say like 90% of the game just on my own with no help. There was one puzzle in particular that I had to look up like pretty deep into the game, but it was one of those things where it's like, man, I didn't really like think to look at it this way or whatever. And then another time, kind of like a half step thing, whatever, I kind of got like majority of the way through or whatever, and the I was literally staring at the answer. And one thing I like about the game is that like you're never gonna get stuck to where, like I said, like once you get all these different abilities and stuff, whatever, and they're kind of building upon each other, you're never gonna be in a position to where it's like, crap, I crossed this bridge or I went through this gate or whatever. Oh no, I'm stuck. It's like, no, you're in the place that you're meant to be in or whatever. And if you still able to kind of come and go or whatever, then that means that you probably still have an objective or something to still do and tackle. And I love that because like once you are fully cleared with the area, it will like if you cross the bridge or whatever, then if you're meant to just continue to go forward and not going back, then that bridge will crumble, so to speak. Well, figuratively and literally, the bridge will crumble, and then it's okay. Then there's nothing more for me to go back and do here, whatever. And the other thing that I enjoyed is that the game kind of has these kind of chapter markers or percentage markers or whatever as you play throughout the game. And at any point in time, you can roll back through those different check marks and stuff and revisit an area, or whatever case you want to do or whatever. Because like example, when I recorded my gameplay earlier, since I had already beaten the game, I had all 100% check marks that I can just kind of scroll through and like, oh, okay, let me go show off this boss. Okay, let me show off this piece of a level. It's just like really cool. And of course, the sound design, the music, like I said, it all plays into the atmosphere and stuff, whatever. Like the sounds were just like so well done. And like I said, like all in all, it's a nice tight package It's about 20-25 bucks, I believe is what it was. And like I said, it is also on Game Pass. If you have that subscription, you can try that as well. But it definitely was worth the money to me. Like I said, just the level of polish of the game, and like I said, I got a good solid 5 to 6, 7 hours out of the game, whatever. And it just felt good to kind of like flex those certain creative muscles in my brain to kind of like think of these different puzzles and stuff. And a lot of times it was just a case of like, you know what, um, I'm looking at this too much, whatever. Let me take a break, go get something to eat, go outside for a walk, maybe go watch some TV or whatever, find something else to do, read some manga or whatever for a little bit, and then circle back and come back to it with the fresh mind or refreshed mind. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do to go forward. So, but yeah, so like I said, all in all, Cocoon is one of my favorite things for sure I've played this year, whatever. And it's just very dope. I got to play this right after I beat Sea of Stars a couple weeks ago, or whatever. But yeah, Cocoon, super good, highly recommended. Like I said, especially if you enjoyed playing games like Limbo and Inside years back. And speaking of which, if you played Cocoon and you never played those games, go back and revisit those games because they are both like really dope, and definitely worth your time. Now those are a little bit more like the kind of like spooky vibe, so it might be like a good game to play right now in the fall season as we're getting to the spooky season that I know a lot of y'all love. But yeah, Cocoon, can't recommend it enough. Go check it out. So yeah, so moving on from there. So aside from that, like since I'm talking about games real quick, I'm trying to think. I had downloaded and booted up the Foam Stars beta over the weekend, but I don't know. Like I immediately just felt like I just wasn't in the mood to play it. Like I literally was going through the tutorial and got through like a couple sections, used my weapon a little bit, and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm just not gonna play this whatever right now. Like I said, now maybe when it comes back out later on, or if they do another beta or whatever, then maybe I might jump in and give it a try again. But I just didn't want to force myself to play it when I just wasn't mentally in the mood for it. Cause like I said, I was in the middle of playing Cocoon, so probably I just wasn't in that mindset of like wanting to play it or whatever. So, but yeah, so we'll see about that. I booted up 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim a little bit before I started recording, whatever. I love the art style of that. The game looks like really different artistic wise. Kind of remind me a little bit of the anime Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. The game is made by Vanillaware, which are the same people who made that Dragon's Crown game back on like the PS3 Vita era. But yeah, but so who knows? I might revisit that or whatever. But I'm kind of like in this little pocket window right now, to where I'm trying to decide like, okay, what game I might want to tackle next, because Spider-Man 2 and Mario Wonder is in a few weeks on October 20th. Now, Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out at the end of this week. And I'm kind of like having a internal struggle trying to figure out like, man, do I want to get that at launch and play it now? Because they are launching it cheaper than normal. It's coming out at $50 for the base game, and then 60 for a deluxe edition. And I'm like, man, do I want to play it? Because I have heard and seen that it is like a kind of going back to like the roots of the series from like AC2 and 3 and that era, and it's supposed to be a shorter game, like 20 to 30 hours or so roughly, which hey, that's music to my ears. But I'm also like, man, I know that these games, Ubisoft games in particular, go on sale on Black Friday and stuff. So I'm like, man, yeah, while yes, it is only gonna be $50, I could probably get it for 30 or 25 on Black Friday. So I don't know, like I said, it's not like I don't have other stuff to play, but kind of just feel like I'll just kind of just look around and just see what I might be in the mood for. I do have a couple of demos on Steam I have downloaded. I might kind of maybe check out some of those and see what's going on with some of those games and stuff. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as like game stuff. Oh, actually, Gotham Knights got added to Game Pass. So maybe I might give that a try there, whatever. But yeah, so enough of the game stuff, whatever. I kind of want to get into talking about Reservation Dogs and kind of using that as kind of like a springboard for talking about kind of like I guess the best way to kind of say it is that like just remembering that whatever situation and stuff you have going on in your life, you matter just as much, and what you have going on matter just as much as the next person. Now, while yes, on paper, you might be in a better position, like, okay, yes, I'm not homeless, yes, I have a car, yes, I have a job, but that doesn't mean that you still don't have your own struggles going on. But before I dive deeper into that, so Reservation Dogs is a series that went on for 3 seasons. They did 3 seasons total, 28 episodes altogether. The first season just had 8 episodes, and then season 2 and 3 both had 10 episodes apiece. And so the show pretty much follows a group of teens living on this native reservation in Cocoon, Oklahoma. Um, and so pretty much one of the coolest things about this show is that you can truly see the love and care that was poured into this. And I gotta say, shout out to a couple of people real quick. Shout out to the homie Ari from Sundari, because she's the one that originally put me onto this series last year when I had her on for the fall anime preview for last year, and we were talking about stuff we liked, including like Abbott Elementary, and she was like, "Oh, hey, you need to check out Reservation Dogs." And also shout out to this guy I know named Ian, who runs a podcast called Native Film Talk. Now he is Native American, and so it was very awesome getting to hear his perspective as somebody from that culture, that background, because like I said, the show follows this group of teens, kind of in the beginning, kind of like starting off them dealing with the loss of a close friend, uh, and kind of like how they all individually and as a group deal with the loss of him. And then the show kind of follows not just them, but also just like different things that people in the native community deal with, from living on the res, and different I IHS facilities, and just different things that they kind of struggle and go through, and how there were some things I could kind of relate to as a minority person that they kind of go through, but there are also some other things that was very informative for me with the show, because like I said, like kind of like going back with the love and care put into the show, a good chunk of like the staff, the production crew, the directors, majority of the cast and stuff, whatever, are all of indigenous um, backgrounds and stuff, whatever. And so I think I remember on one of Ian's podcast episodes and just different interviews I heard him talking with people about, is that I think that this is like one of the shows that has like the most native people working on it, and like the biggest cast of people, because what's one of the directors, Taika Waititi, um and lots of other people, but yeah, so like I said, the show just follows these kids going through that loss, and then us kind of over the course of the seasons getting a chance to spend time with each of these four characters, um Bear, Cheese, Alora, Willie Jack, but also all the characters surrounding them, everybody in their communities, from their families, friends, just random people that they encounter. And it was freaking amazing. And this final season did not disappoint, because it kind of gave a good wrap up and conclusion to pretty much majority of the characters that we've met along the way throughout these 3 seasons. And I feel like each of these characters are kind of left in a good place by the time that final episode ended. Now, this show does deal with some very serious topics throughout, but the show will make you laugh as much as it's gonna make you cry. And I feel like that's kind of like the beautiful balance of this show, kind of like what I've talked about before with like Abbott Elementary, to where it's such a genius way of them kind of touching on real world topics and struggles of like what teachers and stuff go through, but also mixing in a little bit of that humor and stuff that makes it relatable. And like I said, like seeing the different things that these characters go through in Reservation Dogs, there was definitely so many moments that like really hit close to home. Just like with some of the characters dealing with different family things, whether it be not knowing who a parent is or losing a parent at a very young age, or um, feeling like they're alone and they don't have anybody to talk to, or whatever the case may be. Like the show, it is like super high on my recommendation list if you're just wanting something that is good, something that is relatable, and something that is also very informative. Because, like I said, there are some things I can relate to as a black man, a minority, but this show was super informative to that culture and a lot of things that are specific to them. And like I said, shout out once again to Ian and Native Film Talk. Definitely go check out his podcast and and hearing his perspective talking about this series, it kind of opened up my eyes even more, because like I said, like while I was learning some stuff whatever, but there was a lot of like culture specific things towards like if you're not from that from that background, then a lot of jokes and a lot of in jokes and sayings and different things like that or whatever are just gonna kind of go over your head. And but like I said, it's like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like sometimes it's good to have shows that are made for us by us, so to speak, or whatever, for different cultures and stuff, to where it's like, hey, this is good enough for anybody to enjoy, but it just has that extra good feeling to where it's kind of like an inside joke of like, oh man, yeah, I definitely, I've been there. Yeah, I've been in that situation, whatever. Yeah, my auntie's like that. Yeah, my grandma was like that. That type of familiarity that the show had, they just do so well. And like I said, I loved these characters all the way through. And so, like I said, just kind of like so, like using that as kind of like I said, like a springboard for the topic of your problems matter, because I kind of have this struggle sometimes myself to where, you know, while yes, there are certain goals and things I want to get to in life, and it's like, man, I really wish I could be doing X, Y, Z, or man, I wish I was, in a bigger house, or I wish I had a house, not an apartment, or man, I wish I had, a newer car, or whatever. No, we all have different things we kind of want better for ourselves, and that is okay to want those things. Um, because I know, like sometimes, where I work at or whatever, like out in Dallas, every day I'm driving by and there's, I see the same homeless people. I've been at this job for a little over 3 years now, whatever. And some of these people were there when I got there 3 years ago, and I still see them on the same corners every day for 3 years and stuff, whatever. And so it's like seeing stuff like that. It's like, man, I'm fortunate that I'm not in that position and stuff. Or, I'll be driving home from the grocery store and, hey, okay, load up my trunk with all the groceries and I'm driving home, but I also see somebody else leaving from the grocery store too, but instead of driving in the car, they're walking down the street or on the sidewalk, whatever, with arms full of groceries or whatever. And it's like, man, you know, And I'm glad I'm not in that position because I have been in that position. That's how I grew up. I grew up in the in the hood. My mom, we never had a car growing up, or whatever. And so every time we would go to the store for groceries or whatever, if there wasn't a family friend or a relative nearby that could take us to the store or whatever, hey, we walked to the store, we did our shopping or whatever, and me and my mama, or sometimes just me, sometimes just her, depending on what's going on or whatever, walking home with just arms with bags and bags and bags of groceries. And so, sometimes I see those moments and I'm, appreciative of the situation I'm in now or whatever, and just being like, man, at least I'm glad I'm not there anymore. But I think that sometimes we lessen ourselves and how we're feeling and what we're going through because we might see somebody that is in a worse position than us, and so sometimes we kind of feel like that we can't voice our concerns, we can't voice our struggles because it's like, well, Robert, try to be grateful because you do have a home, you do have a job, and da 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 da. But just because I do have that or whatever doesn't mean that I still don't have different things that I struggle with or things that concern me, that keep me up at night, that stresses me out, and different things like that because, we are all different people and we all have our different levels of things that we go through, whatever. Um, because, like for example, I'm married, I have, 5 kids or whatever, and it's like, man, sometimes it's like, man, Robert, like, how do you do it? How do you keep up with all this stuff with just on a base level with the family or whatever? And then on top of that, 3 of them doing sports, y'all traveling across the country doing sports and stuff, whatever. Somebody always got a game or practice, a tournament, da 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 da. But then on the flip side, it's also like, well, there's, somebody, I have somebody that I know that, you know, it's just, he's just married with his wife. They have no kids, nothing, whatever. Maybe a couple of dogs, and that's it or whatever. But I have my struggles, and me looking from the outside is like, okay, we work, we work in the same job. We're doing some of the things, whatever. And you going home, and you don't have the extra stuff, whatever, that I have to deal with or whatever. But I don't know what all this person has going on, in their home or in their own personal life, aside from just the little bit I can glean from our conversations and stuff, whatever. And like I said, it's just one of those things, just kind of like keep in perspective that like we all have different things going on. Some of us, deal with things more quietly than others, but we also do need to be aware of it's okay to speak out, it's okay to vent. That's one of the reasons why I created this podcast, created this show, this platform as a place for me to talk because I was going through something very heavy and stuff, kind of, but I was kind of going through it by myself. And even just me coming on, setting up my mic and stuff, whatever, hitting record and just talking, sometimes it just makes me feel better just to get all this stuff off my mind, off my heart, and just get it out there into the world. And regardless of if there's somebody on the other end to receive it or not, just the fact that I can speak my piece is sometimes all that we might need. And so now I'm not saying, hey, that you have to start a podcast or make a YouTube video or whatever to voice your concerns. But if you have that friend, if you have that relative, or something or someone that you can pour your heart and stuff out to, whatever, then please do it. Because like I said, don't lessen yourself and what you have going on just because you think that, oh well, there's bigger and crazier things going on in the world. It's like, yes, there is always something crazier going on in the world, you know, than what you might have going on. But sometimes we just need to just worry about what's going on in your world, your bubble, because there is so much stuff going on that we can't control everything that everybody is doing. Sometimes we have to just start local, start with ourselves, and make sure that we are okay, you know, before we continue trying to march forward and stuff. So, but hopefully that makes sense to somebody out there. And like I said, like these are just different things that just like really came to mind. A lot of it's kind of come to mind a lot lately in general, but especially this past week as I watched this final season of Reservation Dogs, and I just kind of got to see all these characters kind of like deal with their various problems and stuff. Sometimes, they try to deal with it on their own or in silence, and then it might have been a friend, it might have been a relative, it might have been a spirit that kind of came and talked to them and being like, hey, are you okay? Or hey, you need to go and talk to this person. Or hey, you need to go and do this thing. Or hey, it is okay to do something for yourself. Bear, his mom, she got a job offer, um, but it was somewhere else. She would have had to move away or whatever. And of course, as a parent, as a mom, she struggled with that because she was like, no, my son is here. I can't leave him, and I've never left this town or whatever. As far as like living wise, and so she was visited by the spirit of a past friend. I won't speak too much on it or whatever because I want y'all to watch the show, but the spirit kind of just told her, just like, hey, your son is an adult now. He's 18. He's an adult, and he'll be okay. And it's like, hey, you did your job as a parent. You raised him, whatever. But it is okay to want something for yourself. It is okay to live your life um, for you. And the spirit also kind of being like, hey, like, I want you to go and strike up a conversation with this person or whatever. And it's like, see, you could have been doing this or whatever. Why haven't you done this? And it's like, I wish I could do this or whatever, but I'm not here. Like, hey, I can scream and yell and fuss at this person all they want or whatever, but they are not hearing me. Versus you're still alive, you're still in the flesh. You can go over to that person's house and speak to them and stuff. So do it, And so it was just different moments like that where, characters learning like, okay, it's okay to be, I don't know if selfish is the right word, but basically kind of like it's okay to do stuff for you. It is okay to, to treat yourself every now and then. It's like, like I said at the end of every episode, treat yourself to something nice. Take care of yourself. And I know while I do say that at the end of every podcast episode, I am also not the best at practicing what I preach, so to speak, or whatever. Because I kind of like look back on my life, and especially like my life as an adult, and there's been so many people that have come and gone in my life that it's like, man, I should just went up to the house and visited just because, versus all the excuses or, oh well, I got this and that or whatever. And it's like, man, you could have just taken an evening or a night or whatever and just gone, sat, visited with this person or whatever. But hey, that person is no longer here. Now you can only regret what you couldn't do or whatever. But time continues to march forward or whatever. And so just like stuff like that. Same thing with like job opportunities and stuff. Whatever, I've done that myself too. So it's like, okay, hey, taking a leap of faith. Like a coin toss. So it's like, okay, hey, job A, job B, or whatever, and just kind of pick one and just see where it takes you. Um, but yeah, so like I said, all of that to just kind of say both watch Reservation Dogs. It is a super awesome, super fantastic show, but also take care of yourselves and speak up. If you're not doing well or if you feel like something is wrong, speak up. Like I said, that's kind of why I took the time off this weekend or whatever, and I'm taking PTO this Friday as well, just because with life stuff going on or whatever, I find myself sometimes kind of like running on autopilot. Towards like, okay, I'm up late naturally, but then I'm up early because I got to get up, get the kids ready for school, then get off to work and yada yada yada, whatever, just on autopilot. But it's like sometimes I'm not getting enough proper rest consistently, or hey, I'm not, going out and doing different things for myself, whatever. It's like I'm always running around like, okay, hey, yeah, taking the kid here, taking the kid there, doing what this person want to do, doing what that person want to do, whatever. And it's like sometimes you have to just like stop and pause and just like take control back of your life. That's kind of why I've been, happy that, I've been playing more games and stuff recently, because that's something that I super love doing. But there was like a stretch of like months where I really didn't play nothing for a while, because I was just like, I felt too exhausted after doing everything and expending so much of myself for everybody around me, to where I wasn't saving anything of myself for me. And that's not a good way to live. And I started feeling it physically taking a toll on my body and on my health or whatever. And so it was like, okay, realizing, okay, hey, you got to do better for you, for yourself. And so yeah. So like I said, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but like I said, just kind of on the point of you matter, what you have going on matter. You know, don't compare your struggles to the struggles of somebody next to you. So that's the simplest way I can say that. And so with that, I'm gonna take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and talk about some other stuff I've been watching and reading. So be right back. All right. So, oh, and last thing I forgot to mention. So with Reservation Dogs, it's on Hulu. So all 3 seasons on Hulu. Go check it out, and please come back and tell me how you feel about it. So yeah. So really quickly, like I said, I just want to just briefly touch on some stuff I've been watching, cause man, like it's so much freaking stuff coming out, man, that across the board, gaming, anime, TV shows, manga, all this stuff, whatever, man. And so like the is it Gen V? Gen V, the Boys spin-off series came out last weekend. They dropped like 3 episodes. They're all an hour a piece. Haven't got to watch that yet, but I was like, dang, okay, all right, that's on my radar or whatever. And then the Adventure Time spinoff with Fiona and Cake came out last week. They dropped 10 episodes. I'm like, God, okay. Loki season 2 dropped later this week. I feel like there's something else big. I think Lupin season 3 is coming out end of this week too or whatever. So I'm just like, man, it's just like so much stuff. But that's awesome. I'll get to stuff when I get to it. But yeah. So as for stuff I did watch and check out, so let me see. Let me pull up my little list here. So, and like I said, I'm just gonna briefly touch on a few things, whatever. So I checked out that My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer anime. And that first episode was okay, like I said, like some wholesomeness mixed in there. So I'm definitely down for some wholesomeness, because basically it follows a former adventurer. He got injured, so he can be an adventurer no more. Finds a baby in the woods, raises the baby. She becomes an adult. Then she goes out, becomes a renowned adventurer out in the world, and now she's trying to make her way back home. So I don't know. It might be kind of one of those ones where I might give it another episode or two, but this might be one I maybe like save and binge later on. Like I said, I'll kind of touch more on this in the coming weeks when I do my full preview thing. Shout out to Firefighter Daigo. That was a really dope first episode. Kind of following a few firefighters doing their thing, but the MC Daigo is a beast with the way he like the flashbacks with his training and stuff, whatever, looked really cool. So I'm excited to maybe try to keep up with this one. We'll see. Now I know that there was like a prequel series that they did as a movie. I'm debating maybe I might try to see if I can find that and maybe watch that, but I don't know because this came out in 1999, so it's a super old school one. But I don't know. Maybe I might go back and check it out. Let me see. Man, so Frieren Beyond Journey's End, they dropped. So we already knew it was supposed to be like a 2-hour premiere. At least that's how it aired in Japan. But on Crunchyroll and stuff, they dropped it as 4 episodes. But man, they blew expectations out the water because so the 4 episodes cover the first volume of the manga, which I don't think I have within arm's reach right now. Oh, yes, I do. I actually do. So yeah, so the first 4 episodes of the anime cover the first volume of the manga, which is super awesome. I did a review for it last year or 2 years ago, I don't remember, but a while back. And so, but yeah, but like, man, like visually, the music, the voice acting, everything was phenomenal. Everything was on point. Even as somebody who already read all that material, I was still getting hit in the feels with with the show. And I guess I'll mention real quick too. So with Frieren Beyond Journey's End, it basically follows a group of adventurers who defeated the Demon King, and Frieren, she's an elf. So of course, you know, elves, they have super long lifespans for thousands of years, whatever. So her concept of time and human life, whatever, she just doesn't really care or have a good understanding of it until basically some of her party members start aging and then eventually passing away. And then she kind of starts to understand and appreciate, to start enjoying the moments of life, because she'll just casually be like, you know, they're like, man, yeah, that adventure to defeat the Demon King took us 10 years, and then she was like, yeah, it just took a mere 10 years, or you know, there was an event where like this meteor shower only comes every 50 years, and then she was like, man, you know what? The next time I'm gonna take y'all to this really cool spot I know or whatever. So all right, you know, hey, we'll go to it the next time, whatever. And like the human party members like the next one, you know, in 50 years. And so the show does like a really awesome. The series does a really awesome job. Kind of reminds me in a way of like To Your Eternity. We have this kind of like semi-immortal being watching the years pass by as they kind of live and do different things, or whatever. But yeah, so these episodes were freaking fantastic. Kind of like a fantasy slice of life series, and I'm very excited because now going forward, since these 4 episodes covered everything from this first volume, I am now going to be blind with what's going on going forward. So I am looking forward to that, and it's also going to be 24 episodes too. So I'm looking forward to several months going from now until April of next year, March, April of next year, of just kind of being an anime only person and just kind of getting to and enjoy this adventure. Though, of course, they do have the manga on the Viz Media app as well. So who knows? Maybe I might get impatient and read ahead. But for now, I look forward to experiencing this beautiful show as it's airing. Another one that I was highly anticipated that did not disappoint, Shangri-La Frontier. And shout out to all the people that's been finding my review from last year, because I was just looking at some analytics stuff, whatever, earlier today, whatever, and saw I got a little spike of people going back and checking out that. But yeah, so Shangri-La Frontier, man, once again, this is another one that like really has blown expectations out of the water because the visuals off the charts, the sound effects for like when he does like the counter attack and stuff, and the critical hits, and it is all just like so awesome, man, just like so well done. And I love the shot of the video game store at the beginning of the episode where they kind of have these kind of like alternate versions of real life games. Like you see a game that is basically the cover of Elden Ring, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Sword and Shield, or Scarlet and Violet, Mario Odyssey, uh, so many games, Stardew Valley, like the list just goes on and on and on and on. And so it's just really cool, just like seeing the love and intention they put into the stuff, whatever. But yeah. So and I'm loving the attention that the series is getting. I love all the people that are like, man, I wasn't gonna check that out or whatever, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And so I'm glad seeing people being open minded and checking it out. So Shangri-La Frontier every Sunday on Crunchyroll, and Frieren, that's every Friday. And this is one that I watched on a whim. It's called A Playthrough of a Certain Dude's VRMMO Life. That is a mouthful of a title, but basically the thing that I loved about this one out the gate or whatever is that this is also kind of like another gamer VR MMO game like Shangri-La Frontier, but obviously like the budget and quality isn't as high with this one as SLF. But one thing that immediately made me connect with this one is that the main character that's playing this game, whatever, he's a 38-year-old adult man who has a normal 9 to 5 salaryman job. And one of the lines he says early on in the episode is that like because of life and work and stuff, whatever, he can only game, if possible, 2 maybe 3 hours a night, if he's able to, whatever. And then like certain parts, like when he finished, you know, he creates his character, starts the game, whatever, play a little bit or whatever, do a couple missions or whatever, and then he logs off for the night, and he makes a comment uh, yeah, I know all the hardcore gamers are gonna be up playing all night and stuff, whatever, but sadly I can't do that. I got work in the morning, so I gotta head off to bed. So just little stuff like that. I was like, he's 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 me. I'm him. Type of energy or whatever. But like, yeah, I just really connected with that. And same thing when he was kind of like building his character and his stats or whatever, to where he was like, I'm not really wanting to play with other people or whatever because of my work life or whatever. I can't really commit to being with a group and a party for too long or whatever. So he was picking different skills and abilities that most people wouldn't want. Like, he got the bow and arrow, he got the kicking skill, stealth, cooking, making potions or whatever. But just seeing how that all kind of ended up working out to his benefit a little bit later on was super awesome. So yeah, so this will probably be like a comfort watch that I might keep up with, just like as time permits or whatever. Especially if it's going to be a Monday premiere anime or whatever. So that'll be a nice little slot to kind of like start the day off or start the week off with watching that and unwinding. So, like I said, pleasant little surprise. Like I said, I was just very interested to see um, where it might go from here. But that's kind of it as far as like new shows I checked out. I'm trying to think. I did watch the premiere of Ragnar Crimson, which that was also a hour long episode or whatever, and that episode covered the first chapter of the manga. It was okay. I'm kind of feeling a little bit indifferent to it or whatever, but I might kind of watch a few more episodes of it and then kind of see where I feel with it after that or whatever. Like I said, this is one I think is also going to be 24 episodes, so it might be one I might circle back to a little bit later on. After it's kind of built up some episodes and stuff. So, but yeah. So that's primarily it with what I've watched lately. I'm gonna go back because let me look at this real quick. Because Shy started today. And there was something else. Oh, that Ron Kamonhashi Forbidden Deductions one started today as well. Berserker of Gluttony, I want to check that out. And of course, a lot of other stuff starting later in the week, like Under Ninja and Undead Unluck and Pluto and stuff like that or whatever. So, but anyway, so lots of stuff coming that I'm excited to watch. Like I said, both anime wise and just other stuff in general. Trying to think. There was a couple of manga things I wanted to touch on. So let me look up real quick. All right, so just a couple of quick little shout outs of stuff that I read and caught up on. So I caught up on I caught up on the free chapters for the webtoon A Man's Man. Still so good. Like that is definitely one that I enjoy binge reading. And those of you who might be curious about it, I did a review for it earlier in the year, I think, whatever. But basically it kind of like follows like a former tech CEO that kind of got reincarnated or kind of like got to go back into his younger self 20 years ago or whatever. And so it kind of like it's for those of y'all who might not know or remember whatever, I work in IT. And so kind of getting to see them talk about all these technologies basically like around the time where like right before iPhone was coming out or whatever, around the time like smartphones and stuff was coming and different things like that or whatever. But it's just really good. So I caught up on the free chapters for that, which I was surprised. Like I let them build up for like a couple of months, I think, where I was behind. Another manga I want to shout out that I caught up on is Beat in Motion. That's one that I talked about a while back as well. Still just wholesome, and I still just enjoy seeing these two characters bond and relationship and friendship and stuff kind of like continue to blossom. And I look forward to seeing him hopefully continue trying to work on the animation for this music video of hers that he's trying to put together and stuff. So, but yeah, just shout out to Beat in Motion. And the other one, I wanted to shout out this Kagurabachi. So I decided to finally give this a shot now that it's got 3 chapters out. Just because there was all types of memes and stuff, whatever going on with it. And so it basically follows this guy, Chihiro, who is on a path of vengeance for his father being killed. And his father was like a renowned blacksmith who, back during this war, created these kind of like 6 legendary, like, kind of like mythical blades. They had like abilities or whatever. And then once the war was over, all the blades returned to him and he stored them for safekeeping. Well, of course, some evil organization came, stole them, killed him and stuff. But his last dying thing that he did is that he forged a 7th blade for his son. And now his son is basically on a path of vengeance to try to hunt down not only the people who killed his father, but also to recover the missing and the stolen blades. So 3 chapters in or whatever, it was okay. Definitely top meathead type of stuff, which is not bad, but it's definitely one of those ones where I'm glad I waited a few chapters and I didn't jump in day one. Because this is probably one I might kind of check in every now and then after like a handful of chapters and stuff built up. So maybe I might read one more chapter this coming weekend when it comes out. But after then, I probably just let it build up until it's like 10, 20 chapters or whatever. So many months from now, I'll revisit and see how the series and stuff is going, especially with how stuff is getting canceled and stuff left and right nowadays. To where I'm like, I don't know if I want to, dive into stuff too early. But yeah, but that's pretty much it as far as like manga. I wanted to shout out real quick, cause One Piece is on break. My Hero Academia had a pretty big chapter. Something's going on. Some flags are being waved. I don't know if they're gonna go through with it, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, My Hero is going through some stuff. JJK is going through some stuff. Um, I really need to catch up on because I'm like super behind on Sakamoto days, man. I am. Ooh, man. I'm like 15 chapters behind on Sakamoto days, and especially and with Undead Unluck's anime coming out. Let me see how far behind am I on that. Uh, Man, I might be like 40 to 50 chapters behind on Undead Unluck. Cause I think the last chapter I read was 141, and that came out Christmas of last year, and they're on 177. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to make a day and just kind of binge and catch up on a lot of stuff. Same thing with Akane Banashi. I am last chapter I read it was like 56, 57, and they're on 80. So I'm like 30 chapters behind on that. Um, so much stuff, and there's a bunch of like new stuff mixed in there as well. Shoujo No, I'm behind on that. Been thinking about going back and circling back to Shojin X, especially because it's like kind of like from the creative Tokyo Ghoul, spooky vibes. I stopped reading that back in like chapter 10, and they're on chapter 41. So I got like 30 chapters or so that I can read. So who knows? I'll kind of play some of the stuff by ear, but I'm excited because, like I said, it's plenty of stuff to read and catch up on. But but I think that's it. It's getting late, and like I said, I just wanted to do a little something, um, just to like I said, like primarily touch on some stuff I'm reading and watching, and but like I said, primarily to review Cocoon and to kind of give that topic with Reservation Dogs series finale and stuff. So, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Give me a little late night dinner, and then maybe watch some more anime and then get my butt in bed and get ready to march towards this Friday off, this 3-day weekend. And who knows? Like I said, maybe I might get AC Mirage. I don't know. We'll kind of see and play it by ear, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. So, as always, thank you so much for watching and or listening. You can find me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for all the video stuff, and then make sure you're following on whatever platform you prefer to get your audio: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, yada yada yada, the usual rigmarole and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so as always, treat yourself to something nice, read some manga, watch some anime and TV, play some video games, and live your best life. And with that, I am out. There's lots of stuff to enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it while also taking care of yourself. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be easy. I love y'all. Thank you so much for all the support. Peace.